Have you ever wondered what lead gen strategies actually work? Have you ever wondered how certain people acquire their clients? Have you ever wondered what entrepreneurs are actually using to sign high ticket clients? Well, I'm going to break it all down for you. As we approach the second half of 2025, I did a full-on evaluation of our business, and I found that there were 6 key ways that we have generated high-ticket clients so far this year. These are the 6 most popular ways that we have generated dozens and dozens of clients in the high-ticket space, ranging from $1,500 to $60,000+. And what I want to do is I just want to share these different ways so that you can see, hey, this is what a 7-figure publishing company is doing to generate these clients. Now, here's what I also want to know. There are other things that we've done over time that have helped produce tons of clients, but I'm just going to share with you 6 that have worked for us so far in 2025 that have all had a return on the investment or a return on the time, because not everything that we do is just about investing money and hoping we get a return. Some of these are labor. Some of these are using software. Some of these are using technology. Some of these are using our team. Some of these are me traveling. And you're going to hear all about that right now. So fasten your seatbelts, buckle up, because you're going to get a peek behind the curtain of what we do at Big Idea to Bestseller to generate some amazing clients, some dream clients, and people that we absolutely love servicing. So the first one, and this is probably my favorite way to generate clients, is referrals. All right, referrals is one of our biggest drivers in our company. And the reason for that is this. When somebody has an incredible experience with us, they finish their book, they launch it to bestseller status, they're featured on Times Square billboard, everybody wants to know how they did it. And so it's a really easy thing to say, oh, I worked with Jake and his team at Big Idea to Bestseller. So referrals are a really great thing. But also, no matter what type of industry you're in, if you do great work for somebody and they get the results that they're looking for, they're likely going to recommend you to other people. And so if you do great work, people will talk about you and be your greatest sales people. Okay? What I love about referrals, though, is that this is a stream that never runs out. The more great work you do, the more customers you have, the more likelihood you're going to get referrals. Now, here's what's really killer, and here's what's really important to do if you want to make referrals a key point of your acquisition strategy is, number one, you have to ask for referrals. And there's a whole bunch of things that we do to really try to drive different points and different asks for our clients in a way that feels really good, but doesn't take away from their experience. So you always want to ask for referrals. But the other thing that you really want to do that I've seen work really well for us is create the right incentive for somebody to make more introductions. The better the incentive, the more introductions that person is likely going to make and refer for you. Here's what's really cool about this. You don't only have to have your existing customers be your referral partners. You can have people in complementary businesses be your referral partners. For example, we have people who are ghostwriters who refer their ghostwriting clients to us to help with the rest of the publishing process. We also have business entrepreneurs and thought leaders who refer their coaches, consultants, experts to us because they know that they need a book for their personal brand. So we also have clients who are the perfect people because they already have a book and people are saying, well, how'd you do it? I want to do this. So referrals, and I spent a lot of time here because I think referrals are one of the best acquisition strategies. And what's really amazing is that it's often not super expensive in relation to some other forms of client acquisition. Okay. Now, your incentive can be whatever you'd like to make it. Your referral fee could be whatever you'd like to make it. But the key thing here is identify referrals, figure out when and where you want to ask your people, and then make sure you ask them and then offer the incentive for coming through and helping your business grow. Because I don't know about you, but I'd rather have 80, 90% of a deal than 100% of no deal. All right. And that's the power of referrals. So that's the first one. The second one that I want to talk about is networking. Now, I wrote a book called Elevate Your Network. I'm an extreme extrovert. I love to network. But what I've learned recently is that networking is an incredible way to develop relationships that could lead to a variety of different opportunities. Let me explain. The right type of networking, when you're focused on creating value, when you're focused on building a real relationship, not just building a relationship to hope that somebody buys, but you're building an actual relationship because you care about that person, you want to get to know them. Well, what happens here is you connect with them. And as you're connecting with different people, they could become clients, they could become partners, they could become people who guest speak in your programs, they could be people who refer you elsewhere. So having the right relationship opens the door for the right opportunity. And it might not be the one that you always think it is. So here's what I love to do when it comes to networking to really make sure that I'm dialing myself in. Yes, there's always an intention, there's always a purpose with networking. But when you network, it's critical that one, you connect with somebody because you're interested in connecting with them. Then, what's your reason for connecting with them? Then, make sure when you're communicating with somebody that you are telling them what you do in the most clear way possible. Because here's something that's critical for you to understand. People naturally want to help other people, especially in that first 1 to 3 interactions with them. That's often when people are like, I really want to add value for them. So what could I do that would really help them out, right? If they're really trying to build a relationship, they're going to think about that. The easiest way for someone to help you out is to know exactly how they can help you out. And so if you're clear about what it is that you do, how you help people, what it is that you offer, and they're aware of that, it makes it really easy for them to be able to either say, hey, I actually need that. Hey, I know someone who needs that. Or, hey, have you thought about this? And that's a critical component to building a network. So then you can both create value and then you can have opportunities. Now, if the person does become somebody who could be a good fit for you, okay, and things align, well, invite them to what you do only if it's something that benefits them. So there was a few people that I was networking with. I'm going to give you a couple scenarios here. I was networking with somebody and I thought that a book would totally help them. But when I started talking to them, a book wasn't on their horizon. So I didn't press any further. But what I did was I made sure when they asked me, like, what do I do? I said, oh, I run Big Idea Bestseller. It's a full service publishing house. We help people just like you write, publish, and launch nonfiction books for back-end business growth. And they were like, that's so amazing. And even though they weren't ready for it, they referred me to somebody who was. I was talking with another person and I was like, hey, we help people market their books, because they were talking about that they had just written a book and they were like, what do you do? How do you recommend? So I gave them a couple pieces of advice and they say, hey, by the way, like we help people get on billboards and featured articles and everything. If you ever want to chat about that, I would be more than happy to give you the strategy and talk with you further. And they were like, no, I want that. What does it cost? Let's do it. So the key thing here is understand what the other person needs. Don't push your agenda on somebody else. And when you do that, you can create a really great relationship with people that'll eventually, whether it's short-term or long-term, lead to opportunities, lead to referrals, and lead to more clients. So this is one of my favorite ways to get clients as well. These are all my favorite ways, but this is one of my favorite ways because it's something that for as long as I've been in business and for as long as I've learned about business from my parents and from my mentors, building the right relationships is everything. It always has been, and it always will be. Okay? Now, the third way we've generated clients, and this is one that people have differing opinions on. But for me, this one is something that I will always continue to do for as long as it exists, and that's social media. I'm not talking about ads yet. I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm talking about consistent social media posting. Now, I'll be honest. I don't get thousands of likes on my post. I don't get brand new people every single post I meet signing up to pay us a lot of money. But here's what happens over and over and over again. Because I'm consistent, I produce a high amount of content, as high of quality as I can. And because I'm consistent, people keep me top of mind. So every once in a while, someone who's been following me for 6 months or a year or even longer, they're like, Jake, I see you post every day. I'm finally ready to write my book. Boom, fantastic. Was there any one post that made them convert? No. It was the fact that I was consistently showing up and producing things of value that piqued their interest. It was just about the time. The other side of it, though, is there are new people who will follow you all of the time. Well, when they follow you, do you have the right content that will keep them engaged or that will let them know exactly what it is that you do and how you can help them? I just had somebody who recently heard about me. They followed me on social, watched a couple videos, and they said, hey, I love what you stand for. I love your process. Can we talk about how I could potentially work with you? So you have By being consistent, regardless of your following size, you set yourself up for both short-term and long-term opportunities. And this is how we've been able to sign some significantly fantastic high-ticket clients, is just because I've consistently posted about it. And so a lot of people will say, well, how much should I post? How often do I need to post? Is this really worth it? Jake, you get like X amount of likes per views. You don't get that many comments. And I go, yeah, would I love more? Of course. Of course I would love more. But you know what? That's not going to stop me. Because for every 1,000 people I have, that's a freaking auditorium. For about 10,000 followers that I have on Instagram, that's a stadium. Are you kidding me? 10,000 people have chosen to follow me on social media, who many of them are interested in what I have to say. What a blessing. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. So that's the third thing. Consistent social media posting. You never know when those people will convert. The cycle can be short or long. Okay? And this is important to know. As we reach the halfway point here, it's important to know that some of these can be shorter turnaround times. Some of them can be longer sales cycles. And that's why it's good to have a little bit of a blend, right? Referrals could be bang, bang. Referrals can also take time for you to service somebody and then them getting to a point where they want to refer. All right. The next one that I want to talk about that we've used to generate several high-ticket clients is Facebook ads. Now, are we the best ads experts in the entire world for high-ticket stuff? No, not yet. But are we working on it? Yeah, absolutely. And we're starting to see some really great things. And so the ads that we chose to run, and this was modeled off by several industry experts, is a high-ticket book a call funnel. And essentially what this is we run ads to booking a call, we conduct the call, and then we close them on that call. Okay? That is the process. Now, a lot of people will say run ads, opt them in, cold call them, and then hopefully they convert to a booked call. For us, it was ads straight to a booking link, and then there was a rigorous qualification process on the back, okay? And then we had the call, and then we closed the deal. This is what we were testing. There's a million ways to do it. There's a million right ways to do it. The only wrong way is to stop doing it, right? And so this worked for us. And what I found is that through doing this, we were able to acquire a lot of interest very, very quickly because of ads. We were able to reach a lot more people than through organic based on my current audience and based on the budget we were investing in. And this allowed us to get in front of the right people. And there's a lot of trial and error. And again, we haven't mastered it by any means yet, but this is a way that we've generated high ticket clients. And it's a really, really great way because often if somebody's going to see your ad, book a call, one of two things is going to happen. They're either ready to buy right away, they've been looking for the solution, and you're able to solve that problem, or they're gathering information and then they're going to keep you in mind for the next few months. We've seen both of these scenarios come into play already from Facebook ads. So Facebook ads can be really great, but just know if you're going to do Facebook ads for high-ticket clients, I would just encourage you to consider what is your budget, what is your marketing budget, and then what are your numbers that you need to hit. Because it's going to be an investment early on. All right. There's a lot of testing involved and there's going to be an investment early on. But if you can figure it out, it's a great opportunity to scale fairly quickly. Okay. We got two more here that I'm going to share in terms of how we generated clients. And then I'll throw in a bonus one at the end. So the next one is cold email. Now you might be thinking, Jake, cold emailing actually still works? Yeah. It actually still works. And this is one that for me has had a longer sales cycle, meaning we send out a ton of cold email. We get responses based on a percentage of people. Of those responses, we'll do a call. And then from there, it'll be a lot of nurturing until they're either ready to go or until they end up signing up. So again, with this one, and just like with anything, okay, with anything, there's always people who are ready right away. But there's a majority of people who are interested, but they're waiting on either, are you the right person for them? They're checking out multiple different people, or they're not in buying mode just yet. They're in research mode. You need to be able to serve and know how to navigate both of these so that you don't just lose a bunch of opportunities when it comes to the sales process. And so for us, cold email, it's high volume. It's targeted approach for somebody very specific. And then it goes to an introduction. Once we get a response, that's our number one goal, is get a response. From there, it's build out the report, give a copy of my book, get on a call, and then from there, figure out what's it going to take to secure the deal. We've had people who have been like, Yeah, I've been absolutely wanting to write a book. Boom, let's do it. You're a good fit. You've been the person I've been looking for. Boom, sign up. We've also had people who are like, okay, this is really great. And then 6 months of follow-up goes by and they're like, all right, it's showtime. Let's go, Jake. Appreciate you. So again, there can be the short or the long-term cycle. For us, cold email has tended, and when I look at the numbers, it's tended to come from a longer sales cycle than some of these other platforms. And part of that is just because it's completely cold. They don't know who I am before they get this message. Then they're getting a cold email, and then they got to do their due diligence, make sure we're not full of shit, and also make sure we're as legit as we are. And then they find out that we are. They reach out to some people, they do their due diligence, and then boom, they're ready to work with us. Now, the last one for right now that I'm going to share is being a part of a mastermind. For me, being a part of a mastermind with like-minded people has generated me a lot of business. And this is similar to networking, but it's only slightly different because a mastermind, you're basically investing to be in a room of people at your level or higher, right? And if you're investing into a room, and there's different types of mastermind. There's niche-specific masterminds. There's income-level masterminds. There's all different types of these rooms. But for me, what I have found is that by investing in a mastermind where there's a lot of people who have the potential to write a book, what's really cool about it is we get to see each other and we get to meet each other and we get to learn about each other's businesses a lot more in depth than if you were just randomly connecting with somebody one-off. And because of this, you have a significant interest in that other person's success. So you're more likely than not going to give them the benefit of the doubt or try to want to work with them because you have more of an inside look of to what their business is, of to who their personality is, and the fact that they're in this room with you, you all want to win together. And so that's really, really fantastic. And so for the mastermind this year, we've had several people who I'm in a mastermind and they hear about what I do and they're like, I've been wanting to write a book. I just needed the right person. Well, because we're in the same mastermind, they're like, hey, Jake, you're my guy. I've also had it where I've been a part of masterminds for sequential years and people don't work with me right away because they're not ready to write a book or they don't see the value just yet. But after years of seeing it, after years of other people doing it, they're like, okay, Jake, now it's time to do it. And so they've spent years getting to know me and they're ready to pull the trigger. I'm right there, ready to help them. So these are the 6 different ways that we've generated high ticket clients in 2025. We have referrals, we have networking, social media, consistent posting, Facebook ads, book a high call, book a ticket funnel, cold emailing, and mastermind. Now I want to leave you with this. This is a bonus one because I think that this is a really, really great one, is speaking at events. This is one of my favorite things to do, both virtually and in person. And speaking at events produces at a great return. Okay. Now, if you don't want to travel, this one's not for you. If you're not willing to bet on yourself, this one's not for you. But if you can speak at events and you can be knowledgeable and have a clear sales process, this could be a very lucrative stream for you. So that's the final one that I'm going to share. But these are the different ways that we've gone ahead and generated dozens of high ticket clients, spending anywhere from $1,500 to $60,000+ with us to help them work on their books. And so I hope that you've kind of learned a little bit about some real ways that people like me, people like you are actually generating clients, what's working, what's not working, the length of the sales cycle. And if you have any questions about it, reach out on Instagram at Jake Kelfer and let's talk about it. You know, one thing that I personally love doing is I love talking about business. I love sharing the different things. And truthfully, I believe that there's plenty of customers for us all to win. All right. So I hope that you found this valuable. I hope that you maybe say, hey, I'm on the right track. Or maybe you're like, hey, I need to add this thing in. Or hey, maybe I need to switch. Or hey, I need to post more consistently because I know that it'll have long-term positive effects. Whatever that case may be is for you, I challenge you to identify, is your lead gen, is your client acquisition strategy currently working? If it is, phenomenal. If it's not, what adjustments can you make so you can really crush this back half of the year? That's what I got for you, and I'll talk to you later.